Powered by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
Empire actor Jussie Smollett is likely breathing a sigh of relief this morning after all criminal charges were dropped against him yesterday. I'm Laura Podesta. I'll tell you why Chicago city officials are furious with this decision.
Yesterday, a man was badly injured crossing a crosswalk in downtown Bozeman. I'm Cody Boyer with the latest on the story and how busy it gets down here with the danger level going up with it.
And later, the district judge has made her ruling on the Public Safety Center lawsuit.
Just ahead of 6:30 on this Wednesday, Chet Lehman, Missy O'Malley with you. We'll have those local stories in a moment. Meantime, our top national story this half hour, a sudden reversal, of course, in the case against Empire actor Jussie Smollett, who's been accused of faking a hate crime attack on himself.
CBS's Laura Podesta has more on why Smollett's case has been suddenly closed.
A surprise decision in the case against Jussie Smollett. A Chicago prosecutor dropped all charges against the Empire actor.
I've been truthful and consistent on every single level since day one. I would not be my mother's son if I was capable of one drop of what I've been accused of.
Smollett, who is gay, claimed he was attacked in January by two men who hurled racist and homophobic slurs. But police say he paid these two men to stage the attack to help his career. Yesterday, though, with little explanation as to why, 16 felony counts were dropped in exchange for 16 hours of community service and forfeiting $10,000 bail.
Our priority is violent crimes and the drivers of violence. Jussie Smollett is neither one of those.
Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel was livid after learning of the decision.
A hoax on the city, a hoax on hate crimes, a hoax on people of good values who actually were empathetic at first, and he used that empathy.
Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson says the city is still owed an apology.
I've heard that they wanted their day in court with TV cameras so America could know the truth, but no, they chose to hide behind secrecy and broker a deal.
Oh, nothing, yeah.
Smollett was cut from the final episodes of Empire after the charges were first filed. Yesterday, he said he would like nothing more than to get back to work, though it's unclear if he'll return to the show. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Now, Fox Television, which produces Empire, released a statement noting that Smollett has maintained his innocence and that the company was gratified that the charges were dismissed. But it made no mention if Smollett would be welcomed back to the show. Wow. Story that we've been following for a little while. It has us all kind of bewildered.
Let's completely shift gears, please.
Yes.
6:32 now. Matt steps in to join us. We've been talking about the flooding concerns.
Yep.
That's not going away. In fact, a little moisture in the sky out there right now.
A little rain, a little snow, or a mix. We're going to be dealing with some scattered showers throughout the day, and the temperatures this morning not any cooler. Remember, the cool temperatures in the morning really do help us out as we're going through the next handful of days. Overnight temperatures right now near the freezing mark, even slightly above in some cases. We are seeing some potential for some scattered showers, both in the form of rain and snow throughout the day today. But the best potential of accumulating snow coming a little later this week. We'll talk about the timing of that, our flooding concerns, and much more coming up in just a few minutes.
Now coming up on 6:33 here on your Wednesday morning, we now know the name and the condition of the man that was hit by a truck on Monday while walking in a crosswalk in downtown Bozeman.
Yeah, 82-year-old Paul Wiley was airlifted to Billings after suffering serious injuries. Law enforcement not releasing any information at this time, but we do know that the incident happened at the intersection of Grand Avenue and Main Street. An officer on scene says a woman driving a pickup truck was turning onto Main Street while Wiley was in the crosswalk. Wiley's family tells us he is recovering, although he is suffering from several broken bones and severe head injuries. Driver of the pickup truck has not been identified.
And while the investigation continues, Bozeman city officials and business owners say this is a reminder about safety concerns with foot traffic in the downtown area.
Downtown Bozeman Partnership says a main part of the city plans put pedestrians first. MTN's Cody Boyer reports on the city's efforts to protect pedestrians.
The pedestrian has the right of way, and it is not the case all the time. painted marks on Main Street are the only indication of a much different scene here Monday morning, something that weighs on the mind of other businesses at similar intersections nearby.
A really good friend of mine just not too long ago involved in a hit and run as she was walking, and the guy didn't even stop, and she actually had some pretty serious injuries after the fact. So it's a bummer.
Knife Bistro General Manager Kara Wilson says what happened yesterday has her and others keeping a watchful eye.
I got a little dog and we're walking around all the time, and you definitely have to keep an eye out.
Chris Nauman, the executive director of the Downtown Bozeman Partnership, says it's cases like this that the city hopes to avoid.
We've got upwards to 12,000 vehicles on average a day traveling on Main Street. And in certain seasons, we've got as many as 5,000 to 6,000 pedestrians.
Nauman says, and it is pretty easy to see, that it is very busy downtown all the time. With more drivers just making their way through, knowing when to use the crosswalk is important.
The number one mobility goal is to prioritize people in all transportation decisions. And the second goal is to calm traffic for safer walking and biking, but it also makes it safer for vehicles.
That way, he says people walking into town can trust the right-of-way, as they should.
We want everyone to, be aware of one another, slow down.
In Bozeman, Cody Boyer, MTN News.
Let's stay in Bozeman news here for a moment. The demolition of both gyms at Montana State University that had their roofs collapse is still underway this week, with the North Gym being the main focus right now.
Yeah, crews knocked down one of its walls last week with the goal of taking down the north wall by the end of this week. To do that, MSU officials say starting today, Grant Street will once again be closed for safety concerns. University aims to have all three gyms, including the upper gym and the eastern building attached to it, taken down within the next few weeks, all while making sure the rest of the Marga Joseas Fitness Center does not get damaged.
We really want to be transparent with how we're working on this, how we're recovering from the loss of the gyms, and throughout the removal process. So we're trying very hard to communicate clearly with everybody affected by this.
Now, the university is still unsure when exactly the demolition will be completed, but will continue posting updates on their website. You can also head to our website for more details.
And there is also some roof trouble west of the divide. Cleanup is taking place at a large warehouse building in Uptown Butte after its roof collapsed last week. Pressure from the buildup of snow and ice caused a large section of the roof to cave in at this warehouse on Broadway and Arizona Street last Wednesday. Boats and vehicles stored in the facility were damaged by that collapse. No injuries were reported, however. Crews from the C. Davis Enterprises in Butte began the big task of removing the debris from that facility.
It just goes to show you what Mother Nature can do with the weight. And we're not the only ones having problems. I mean, I'm hearing people all over town, roofs leaking, roofs collapsing. I mean, like I said, I think it was just the perfect weather with the freezing, the thawing, and the weight.
Now, the owners of the warehouse plan to wait for the report of the insurance company before deciding if they will rebuild.
Back here in the Gallatin Valley, the future of Bozeman's new public safety center was put on hold pending the outcome of a lawsuit.
And the issue was the city being an advocate or just educating voters. MTN's Medeiros Babb has the update on the situation.
After about a week of deliberation, District Court Judge Brenda Gilbert dismissed a complaint that the city advocated for the $37 million bond for an all-in-one public safety center. Deputy Mayor Chris Mell says it feels good to be able to move forward.
Relief. The public voted overwhelmingly to build a new public safety center. 60% of the voters said yes, go forward. We need this for public safety, both police and fire. We were delayed by one person. The judge has now dismissed that case, and that means we can get back to what we're supposed to be doing.
So I'm excited about the project, and I think that it is definitely going to enhance our ability to serve the citizens of Bozeman, and so it will be worth the wait, but it's unfortunate that we've had to have this wait.
Judge Gilbert's dismissal of the complaint is directly related to the process. If a complaint is made regarding an election, it must go to the state's Commissioner of Political Practice. That person then must refer it to the county attorney to take on the case. However, both the COPP and the Ethics Board dismissed the claims, saying the city did not advocate for the project.
There was a complaint to the Commissioner of Political Practices. His staff looked into it. He made a recommendation. There was a complaint to the City Ethics Board. They looked into it. They made a recommendation. Both of those were dismissed the case. The judge now has weighed in. 3 strikes, you're out.
But there's always a catch. Plaintiff Roger Koopman now has to decide if he wants to appeal the ruling to the Montana Supreme Court.
The judge did acknowledge that there were other issues we raised that the state Supreme Court really has not addressed yet. So that certainly leaves opportunity for appeal. But again, you know, we want to do the right thing here. There are important issues at stake, but we need to consider all of our options.
In Bozeman, Medeiros Babb, MTN News.
Now, Koopman does have 60 days to decide if he does want to appeal. So we'll be following that.
For sure.
We do have to take a quick break. Thank you so much for joining us. In just a moment, Chet's going to sit down with well-known Bozemanite Jeff Krogstad about a very special honor given to one of his dear friends, deceased veteran Travis Atkins. In a moment, we'll hear about this hometown hero.
But first, we're going to check in with Bianca Goladriga to see what's coming up on CBS this morning.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS this morning, legal analyst Ricky Kleeman looks at the stunning decision to drop charges against actor Jussie Smollett. Why she says it's one of the most extraordinary turns she's ever seen. And in our Profiles in Service series, meet some of the first women to serve in the Marine ground combat positions previously limited only to men. We'll see you at 7.